You ever notice how every year a few games come along that feel like they somehow got lost between the cosmic sofa cushions of time, only to be unearthed in the present as a perfectly preserved relic of a bygone era? Hi-Fi Rush, Slitterhead, Kunitsugami, and Crow Country are all recent examples of games that would have fit perfectly in the tone, aesthetic, and mission statement of a previous console generation. It's as if they were born from a parallel reality where certain genres or hardware thrived instead of falling out of vogue as the pendulum of time and trends swung uncaringly back and forth. With all that being said, I am happy to highlight Miscellaneous: A Tiny Tale, a recent indie game available on Steam and Switch that joins the ever-growing roster of pitch-perfect throwbacks. And in playing through its brisk adventure to completion, I can't help but feel like it is the absolute best GameCube game to release in the year 2025. A Tiny Tale is an incredibly charming 3D platformer collectathon that wears its influence of early 2000s Nintendo as a badge of honor. You play as Buddy, who along with his mechanical pals evoke the hero of the cult hit Chibi-Robo. The handful of micro open world levels across the 5-hour campaign are contained in a modest backyard that feels massive and alien because of your minuscule size. As you can see, it has big Pikmin energy in this presentation, but the gameplay is decidedly more in line with traditional platformers. You'll be exploring each map and sifting through every nook and cranny for various tchotchkes and doodads that you'll need in order to press on to the next level, all while helping out these cute NPCs with their requests. Picking up trash and cleaning various puddles of gunk scratches a cleanliness itch that started with Mario Sunshine and Luigi's Mansion and has evolved over the decades into what we see in games like Power Wash Simulator. While hopping around, your jump is a bit on the floaty side, but that works to the game's advantage. It's more about rewarding curiosity and exploration than precision platforming, though there are these Sunshine-esque challenge rooms where the floor is removed and you have to precariously navigate increasingly complex obstacle courses, much to the delight of this mischievous raccoon. All of this is wrapped in excellent writing that effortlessly oscillates between witty humor and genuine emotion that reminds me of the great character moments in Wind Waker or Thousand Year Door. I keep bringing up GameCube games specifically because that's the console that A Tiny Tale seems to be harkening back to. It was back in a time when the different consoles of a given generation actually had their own unique identity. It's a far cry from the homogenization that we have with the PS5 and the Series X. That's one of the things I loved about this generation. Each of the three consoles had their own immediately recognizable thumbprint. The PlayStation 2 was a storytelling device that was fitting because it was also my family's first DVD player. The Xbox and Halo 2 read the tea leaves of our connected future and got me into online gaming just long enough for me to realize that I do not think I like online gaming. And PCs were there for doing your taxes and rolling the dice on the file that you were illegally downloading being Limp Bizkit's break stuff and not a big ol' virus. But the GameCube? I mean, hell, it's right there in the name. It's a damn cube that plays video games. It unabashedly looked and felt like a toy, and I mean that as a complete compliment. Having purple be one of the launch pillars, the big colorful buttons on the controller, and its fashionable handle all pointed towards a console that focused on fun rather than trying to prove someone like Roger Ebert wrong. While its library certainly paled in comparison to the PS2, there are so many gems on the GameCube that exude a very specific frequency that I still 100% align with. Pikmin, Chibi-Robo, Cubivore, Luigi's Mansion, Ribbit King, Mario Sunshine, Billy Hatcher, Star Fox Adventures, Wario World. I don't know if the term Wavebird Core exists, but A Tiny Tale is 100% carrying that wireless torch into 2025. Side note, I also have a weird take that borders on insane, but hear me out. In this generation specifically, I'm talking GameCube, PS2, original Xbox, I associate every game with a specific console, even if that game never made it to that platform. In my broken brain, Eternal Darkness is a PS2 game, Killzone is an Xbox game, and Blinks the Time Sweeper is a GameCube game. I know that on paper it's nonsensical, but from the right angle, at the right time of day, if you squint just right, yeah, does that make sense to anyone else out there? Please let me know in the comments if you think of any games in this way, or if you think I'm just suffering from some strange flavor of psychosis. But back on track, another thing I love about a Tiny Tail launching in the same breath as Donkey Kong Bonanza is that it points to the 3D platforming genre absolutely thriving in 2025, which is something that was not true 10 years ago. Starting at the very top, AAA bangers like Bowser's Fury, Astrobot, Psychonauts 2, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Sonic Frontiers, and the aforementioned Bonanza show that audiences will still show up for a well-crafted platformer. That's also clear in the form of all the remasters, remakes, and repackagings we've been seeing of former heavy hitters like Crash, Spyro, Croc, Gex, and the one true God Glover. Hopefully, it's just a matter of time before Sony remembers that they left Jack, Ratchet, and Sly waiting in the car with the windows crack while they wandered off and spent billions of dollars on failed live service games. And of course, A Tiny Tale shows that we're seeing the same 3D platforming renaissance in the indie space as well. Indie creators and the tools at their disposal often reflect a period of roughly 20 years in the past, which coincides with the era they grew up in. Years ago, we had a lot of games signposted by those of the 80s and early 90s. Think Cave Story, Spelunky, Braid, Shovel Knight. It's obvious now that indies are drawing inspiration from the big genres of the late 90s and early aughts. Just see how boomer shooters, the PS1 aesthetic, and 3D platformers are thriving. This has led to recent goodies like Pseudo Regalia, 1000 Deaths, Paper Clay, Lil Gator Game, Yellow Taxi Go Vroom, Frogun, Tinykin, Orbo's Odyssey, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, Penny's Big Breakaway, A Hat in Time, Stray, Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip, Valley Peaks, Ruffy and the Riverside, and on the horizon, my wishlist is brimming with upcoming games like Gecko Gods, Big Hops, Korobo, Demon Tides, Hero Quest 64, The Big Catch, and so many more. While I love that Nintendo is slowly bringing its GameCube library over to the Switch 2 Online, it's even more exciting to see the influence of the console felt across the entirety of the gaming landscape, and more specifically in gems like Miscellaneous, A Tiny Tale. The GameCube might not have had the massive reach of the PS2 or the online-heavy foresight of the Xbox, but Nintendo's little lunchbox understood that sometimes being fun was more than enough.